on iVillage Live, Christy Turlington. She's one of the most successful supermodels ever, and she talks to Naamua about motherhood, marriage, and activism. Plus, we're going to help you get a bigger paycheck. Sissy Schaefer's got the cities where women can make a ton of cash. And the winner of the Papillon Mother's Day Cook-Off. One lucky viewer and their mom are walking away with a whole bunch of loot. But can their recipe stand up to our moms? We'll find out. It's all happening right here, right now, on iVillage Live.
Welcome to iVillage Live from Universal Orlando Resort.
You know, supermodel Christy Turlington has graced the covers of over 500 magazines. And Christy, along with Linda Evangelista and Naomi Campbell, were among the first to be known as supermodels.
I have to say, guys, she's still looking pretty super.
They all look great.
Oh, it's amazing. I spoke with Christy Turlington yesterday. She just returned from a humanitarian trip to Swaziland in Africa. I learned the former model is not just a pretty face, she's also a pretty good dancer. Let's take a look. Christy, so inspiring looking at all of the work that you do these days. You're a wife, you're a mother, you're a humanitarian, you're a businesswoman. How do you find time to do all of these endeavors?
Oh, sometimes I don't. It's a challenge. Every day is a little bit of a challenge, but I've learned how to prioritize, and I know what things are most important now, and it actually makes things quite easy to manage my time once I have that in order.
What actually is most important to you these days?
Well, my family, my children. I have 2 small children, so, you know, taking care of them, but also making sure as much as I can that the world that I'm raising them in is a good place, a place that they will feel safe in, that they'll be able to contribute on some level as they grow into, you know, adults one day. So that's really my focus.
Now, stepping back a little bit, of course, once upon a time, you were one of the original supermodels, what many people perceive as being an incredibly glamorous profession, and yet you chose to step away from that at the age of 26. Why did you make that move?
Well, you know, I started working at a very young age, at 14 or 15 years old. So it didn't take very long before I started feeling like I was missing something in my life, and education being one of them. So I decided to continue my education at 26, and I enrolled in school at NYU and got a degree in religion and philosophy there, and I guess sort of had a new lease on life on it once I graduated.
And what's incredible is that you don't seem to have aged since those days when we saw you in all the magazines. I know that you're an enthusiastic practitioner of yoga. Is that your secret to this incredible sort of non-aging?
Well, I think good genes is part of it too. But yeah, I do take care of myself. I mean, I've been practicing yoga for almost 20 years, and the tenets behind yoga are really not just a physical practice, but really a way to live life. Community service is a big part of it. It's really a sort of moral code that I try to live by, and I feel like it's given me back energy and hopefully some peace of mind. So. I can't recommend it enough.
So sort of put out good into the world and good will come back to you.
Exactly, exactly.
These days you're traveling over all over the world. You've recently been to Africa. Tell me about some of the women and children that you visited over there.
Well, on behalf of Red, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the Red product line and what they do, this idea was originated by Bono and Bobby Shriver, and it was basically a business model that partnered with some of the biggest, most desirable brands in the world, Apple, Motorola, Gap, Armani, to name a few, to create a product line that proceeds would then go to the Global Fund and then be distributed through the Global Fund in various parts of Africa where HIV infection rates are soaring. I really wanted to go over and see what our money, our collective money and efforts were doing in Swaziland. Just before Mother's Day, it was an amazing time to celebrate that and the relationship to mother and child, and the fact that such leaps are being made in terms of preventing transmission from mother to child for small babies, and it just seemed like a great way to celebrate this holiday.
Can you perhaps share with us, Christy, one story that was particularly touching that you came across that was a success story over there?
Well, we were able to witness a mother who had 5 children. She was there at a clinic, Baylor Clinic, with her small son who was just given the results that he had tested negative. That was tremendous. She's an example to everybody in her community now that because she took the tests early on and she was able to take the medication that we are helping to provide free to those who are infected with HIV, that she was able to stop that transmission. That's the biggest gift you can do to your child, to give them the opportunity and the chance to live, and then to also be able to take care of yourself so that you're around for your children. This was quite a hopeful moment.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, Christy.
Thank you. Thank you.
To learn more about Christy's journey to Africa, visit iVillage Cares on iVillage.com and read her blog.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. It's always really nice to see people that have not only the opportunity but the willingness to give back. You know, because it's one thing to have the connections, have the money, the power, the star power, so to speak, but people that actually go out and there do it, I mean, it's amazing to me.
It is, because she clearly, I mean, she could live her life if she chose just basking in the celebrity spotlight, but she chooses to use that celebrity for the greater good. Interestingly, I mean, she has a lot of celebrity power. Bono, for example, walked her down the aisle when she got married to Ed Burns. Sadly, because her father had died of lung cancer.
Yeah, you said she's into that whole cause as well, of trying to prevent that as well.
She's a big anti-smoking activist. And she was a smoker herself, so, you know, she really knows that it's a seductive
kind of
habit.
another one of the pitfalls of that modeling business. You know, when you see photographs, you see so many models, and it seems that, you know, that they're smoking and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the coffee and cigarette diet.
Yeah, and, you know, appetite suppressant and all that, and when you go into the weight issues.
You're not putting food in your mouth, you're putting a cigarette in your mouth instead, so
that's
it keeps your
a
hand
good
and your
option.
mouth busy.
Yeah, that's a good option. But no, it is great to see her doing such great work, and it's not easy doing that stuff. You know, I mean, it's not easy work. You have to really. You got to see some really rough things, you know. It kind of brings you back down to earth, you know.
Yeah, well, clearly she's sort of found a way to become centered in her life, and maybe her yoga practice has helped her with that, because she does seem, considering how much she's seen of the world in all its glamour and less than glamorous situation, she still seems to be very kind of centered.
I did yoga in college.
You did?
Yeah, I did yoga.
Guy in the downward dog?
Yeah, I was in all these, it was very spiritual, very uplifting. But,
I don't know if I can picture that guy.
The other, I'm not very limber, but you know, still though, it is good to see all that and to see people that are willing to take the time out of their schedules and give back. And she's, especially when you're, you know, the model's life is a tough life. There's a lot of, you know, different roads you can travel.
Definitely.
And so she seems to be doing really well.
She's chosen a nice road. And as for her future, Airborne Wife in our chat room was just saying, having seen her dancing in that video, do I see Dancing with the Stars in Christy's future? So that'd be a bit of a different turn, wouldn't it? All right, well, talking of supermodels, we're going to be helping you get a bigger paycheck. From DC to LA and everywhere in between, the best cities for women who want more cash. Only turn away if you're already rich enough. You're watching iVillage Live.